We were in northern Thailand and we found a very inexpensive bus to Luang Prabang on the Mekong River in Laos. It's another country to knock off our list, so away we went. Laos is landlocked between Myanmar, China, Vietnam, Cambodia and Thailand. Laos is a very poor country and heavily dependent on foreign aid. I also read that most of the dogs are infected with rabies, so if you ever go to Laos, don't even think about petting the dogs. Here's a few need to know about Laos, and the first and most important one is credit cards are rarely accepted. You need cash. Your tourist entry visa costs approximately about $40, but make sure you bring small bills. If you have $100 bills, they won't be accepted. You also need to bring 2 spare passport photographs to leave with customs. Once you've got through customs and you're now in Laos, you will find that travelling slow is the norm. Journeys often take much longer than expected. Now, accommodation is excellent value. Guest houses, $6 to $15. Hotel, $20 to $40. Safety, very safe. Violent crime is very rare. Laos is known as the land of a million elephants. It also has no megacities, no coastline, and there's no great urban sprawl, giving it one of the most relaxed and rural atmosphere in the whole region. There's more monks than traffic lights. In Luang Prabang, there are more Buddhist monks than traffic lights. There's only a handful of traffic lights in the entire country. They have a beer which is called Bilo, and it's ranked among Asia's best beer, and I can tell you from drinking it, it tastes pretty good. Sticky rice is sacred. They eat more sticky rice per person than any other country on earth. You quite often see them rolling the sticky rice up into small balls before they pop it into their mouths. In the United States, we have school buses. In Laos, they have school scooters, and you often see entire families riding on a single scooter. And the children are there in their school uniforms to show that they're on their way to school. I read that Fort Connaught was one of the places to visit, and that centre photograph shows me opening the gates to Fort Connaught. There was nobody else there, just Lorraine and I. And as we walked to Fort Connaught, we passed that tree on the left-hand side. That's a banyan tree, and it's all roots, and I guess there's some leaves there somewhere. The photograph in the top right is me waiting to get on that cruise ship to go over the Mekong River. We were very fortunate. We got a really beautiful homestay, and that photograph on the top right is the homestay. And on the main photograph there is Lorena waving to us from the balcony. There was a couple of minor issues regarding our new home. We had to walk through the field where that bull was. I was hoping he was going to be friendly. And then we had to walk across that hickety little bridge to get to our new home. The weather was bright and sunny, and we enjoyed our walking around this little town. Even to the point at lunchtime, we found a nice stream to cool down. The photograph in the bottom right says imprint of Buddha's foot on that sign. I never saw it. There was a couple of days of heavy rain, and we found this waterfall just after. As we wandered along the Mekong riverbank, we came across the Mekong pier, and then we bumped into these little children having a great time. Even though the economical situation of the country is very low, their belief in animism, their religion, is very high. They believe that animals, plants, rocks, the weather, and even objects possess a soul or a conscience or a spirit. In Laos, there is over 4,000 temples and over 20,000 monks and nuns. After 7 days in Luang Prabang, we took the train from Prabang to Vientiane. It's only a 2-hour journey and it only costs about $30. Vientiane became the capital of Laos in 1563. And in Vientiane there's a lot of French colonial architecture and lots of Buddhist temples. Also, it is the end of the line for the railway from Kunming in China into Laos. In Laos, there is over 4,000 temples and over 20,000 monks and nuns. This slide shows the Phar That Luang, which is a gold-covered Buddhist stupa, and it's considered the most important national monument in Laos and actually appears on their national seal. As you see on this slide, it looks pretty impressive, but I have to tell you, in real life, it takes your breath away. It's absolutely incredible. We took the opportunity to visit inside. My task was pretty simple. All I had to do was take off my shoes and socks. For Lorena, we had to walk across the street to the small shop over there and rent a sarong for her to wear. The glass partition in the centre is the area where the Buddhist monks circumambulate around there in a clockwise direction. We took the opportunity to follow their example and did a circumambulate 3 times. As we wandered around the following day, we came across this sign pinned to a wall, and it was the instructions on how to get to a waterfall. It said it was only a 10-minute walk, so we thought we'd go. As we walked, we passed these 2 children, and as we came back, the little girl was still in the garden and gave us a wave. The photograph on the right proves we did find the waterfall. That skinny guy in the water is me. When we arrived home one evening, the lady of the home store was waiting to see us, and she loaned us 2 bicycles so we could get out into the countryside. Almost every village that we bicycled through had a gold statue of the Buddha, and all the people were friendly and helpful. It was a very enjoyable time. As we rode along, we came through quite a number of little villages, and we came across this little village, and I did hope that wasn't the bull I saw previously that week. When we returned the 2 bicycles to the lady of the homestay, she had written down 2 or 3 villages that she said we should have a look at, and that's exactly what we did. We found the local buses and away we went. We found accommodation with no problem whatsoever, and it was unbelievably inexpensive. This photograph here shows you the border between Laos and Thailand. That's Thailand on the other side of the Mekong River. When we crossed the border into Laos, we had no idea what to expect. And when we finally crossed the border back out of Laos, we were overjoyed that we'd taken the opportunity. It was unbelievable. The people were friendly, the scenery was perfect, just perfect. The end. We really hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as we have enjoyed the last 14 years of travelling the world. Travelling, the only way to live.